right, so what if I told you that Isaac Newton, the gravity guy, calculus, the whole deal,
Yeah.
what if I told you he also predicted the end of the world?
Hmm.
And get this, he even gave us a date,
Oh,
2060.
wow. That's not that far off.
Yeah, just a few decades from now.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Definitely makes you think.
But hold your horses before you start prepping for, like, some Mad Max scenario. Okay,
Right.
we got to look at what Newton really meant. So we're going deep, deep diving into this letter he wrote way back in 1704. Just recently resurfaced.
Interesting. What's the letter about?
It's pretty wild. It's not like some big public announcement or anything, right?
Okay.
It's this personal letter, but it's jam-packed with, like, all these crazy calculations and stuff.
I see.
And right there in the middle of it all, boom, 2060.
Okay, so what's the significance of that year?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. See, Newton was super into the Book of Daniel.
Ah, biblical prophecy.
Exactly.
So what in Daniel caught Newton's eye?
He was all about the symbolism and the timelines, especially this one passage about time, times, and half a time,
Right.
which, if you add it all up, it comes out to, like, 1,260 days.
And what did Newton make of that?
Well, being Newton, right, the numbers guy,
Mm-hmm.
he thought those days actually represented years.
Wow, that's quite a leap.
Yeah, but that was Newton, always looking for patterns and order.
Makes sense. He was all about finding those universal laws. So how does 2060 tie into all of this?
Well, get this. He meticulously traced back 12,260 years from what he thought was this huge turning point in history, the rise of the Holy Roman Empire.
Ambitious.
And guess where he landed?
2060.
2060. He was convinced it was some major turning point.
But he wasn't talking about the world literally ending, right? We've heard all that fire and brimstone stuff before.
Nah, not quite. Newton's prediction was way more, like, complex and kind of hopeful even.
Oh, how so?
He thought 2060 was going to be this huge spiritual shift, like the second coming of Jesus, and then, bam, 1,000 years of peace and harmony. A divine reset button, basically.
So more of a spiritual transformation than a physical apocalypse.
Exactly. It really makes you think, like, did his scientific mind crave that same order in, the spiritual world?
That's a fascinating question. We always see science and religion as separate things, but for Newton, they were totally intertwined. His beliefs were a huge part of how he saw everything, the physical and the spiritual.
Yeah, a totally different take than, like, our modern-day doomsday scenarios,
Absolutely. And look, we might not all be on board with Newton's theology, but his prediction really gets you thinking about the power of belief.
Right. Like how our beliefs shape how we see the future. It also begs the question, do our actions today, like, have ripples that could affect the world centuries from now? Just like how Newton's interpretations of ancient texts affect how we view his prediction today.
Definitely something to consider. Whether we agree with his prediction or not, maybe Newton's 2060 prophecy is a reminder to think about the long-term consequences of what we do, Like, what kind of future are we creating with our choices?
Wow, that's heavy. Really give you a lot to think about. What do you all think about Newton's 2060 prophecy? Hit us up in the comments. Let's have a discussion.
I'm curious to hear what others think.
And don't forget, like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of crazy ideas.
See you next time.
Catch you later.